All right, hello. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay, but we are going to be working on Gunforged today. And so, yeah, and celebrating the release of my new Godot C# course. So that's the first thing I'll mention. The first link in the description below contains a discount code for the new C# course. So if you want to pick that up, that code is valid for the next 7 days. So definitely check that out. It's a great way to support me. It's a great way to learn how to do C# with Godot. So yeah, that's about it. That's the main thing I have to announce. And so yeah, today on this stream, what I'm going to be working on is more of the Gunforged UI. So I've actually done a bunch of work with this, and I'll just kind of go over what I've got here. So there are basically now there's different UI, different art for the panels here. I made everything ingots, which I think looks a lot better. I've been changing some of the colors around. I can move these runes around now, and the tooltip will show what the affix does. It will also say what the little exclamation point icon means, which is that the runes will be sold. So the idea is that you'll have a limited rune capacity, and that any runes that exceed that capacity will be auto-sold at the beginning of the wave, or at the end of the wave. And there will be ways to increase your number of available rune slots, probably through like some kind of meta progression system. And yeah, I've got little rune icons now on each of these gun parts. So this has a rune in it, and I can press E while I'm hovering over it, and that will extract the rune from that. And then I can select these parts and I can see the preview. So I can shift right click to insert that part on the right gun there. And I can just regular right click to add parts to the left gun, so I can add that there. And then I can do the same for these. So I can right click on an affix to add it to the first gun, shift right click to add it to the right gun. And now it's just a lot more streamlined, I think. It's a lot easier to edit your guns. This is kind of what I was going for in terms of just like streamlining the UI. I think it looks better. I think it feels better. And I think this tooltip is a little bit annoying because it kind of obscures the view, so I have to figure out what to do with that. Maybe I'll just put it... Yeah, what I might do is I might put the tooltip in a quadrant where the mouse is not. So maybe if you're hovering, maybe it'll either be shown at the top or the bottom, depending on where your mouse is. Yeah, I might play with that, actually, this stream and see how that goes. Hello, Whitefinch. I purchased the course already, currently on my morning stand-ups for my day job. So glad to have purchased the course. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Whitefinch. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, again, the link for the C# course is in the description below. It's the first link. You'll get it at a steeply discounted price for the next 7 days. So, okay, and the other thing I need to do is this scroll doesn't work here for some reason, so I gotta fix that to make that visible. So cool, I left something in the other room though, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that really quick. So just give me a second here. Okay, I'm back. So let's get started on some of these things. First, I want to play with that tooltip position. So I'm just going to do something very hacky right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, let's copy this line. We'll get the mouse position. Var target position is equal to mouse position dot y greater than window size dot y divided by 2. So if it's at the bottom half of the window, what we're going to do is we're going to say the target position is equal to vector2.0. And then else, we're going to say the target position is equal to new vector2 0 window size.y. Okay, so that's our target position. I don't think this needs to be a thing anymore. Target position dot y. Okay. So I've just changed around the positioning of that tooltip a little bit, and hopefully that's going to be a little bit nicer to look at. So ideally what's going to happen, okay, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. Why didn't that work at all? Target position. Oh, this needs to be target position dot x. Okay, I just didn't change everything. So what should happen is if my mouse is on the top half of the screen, the tooltip should show at the bottom like that, yeah. And then if my mouse is at the bottom half of the screen, the tooltip will show up here. And the reason that I'm doing that is because previously if I was hovering over things, it would cover the gun, which I guess is still kind of like a problem. But I think that's probably a little bit nicer. So let's see if I can get a bunch of runes. Rune slots. Boom. Oh, I need a bunch of disparate runes here. Extract, extract. Yeah, so there's still some covering happening, but that's going to happen with any tooltip system here. Yeah, I think this is looking great though. So let's figure out why I'm not able to scroll this when it gets past a certain length here. Assembled gun. Well, maybe it's easy. Let me just see something. Oh, because the mouse filter is ignore. That could be a problem. How does the scrolling actually work if it's set to mouse filter ignore? Has focus. So I think this is kind of revolving around the focus. I did a lot of things to attempt to support controllers, but I think that maybe that's interfering with things a little bit. It's making it so that I can't scroll. So what I'm going to do instead is... So it's only scrolling up if it has focus. But I don't really know how it's getting the focus. Yeah, I don't know how it's getting the focus at all. Saw your poll on X about the videos you should put on your channel. It looks like tutorials are winning out. How do you feel about that? That's fine. Yeah, I've got some tutorial ideas that are brewing in my head right now. Yeah, probably. I mean, I will be doing like entertainment videos and devlogs and stuff. It's not just going to be tutorials, but just I was trying to figure out what the demand is like for kind of videos. And I think, yeah, I've got a couple of ideas for tutorial videos I want to do that I think would be really helpful. So I am completely baffled as to why this is, let's see, I love the idea of shorter form content outside of your courses that are like quick ways to improve your game, things like how to add juice. Yeah, that's a great idea. juice, tweens, shaders, other tips like organization. Yeah, maybe just like a 10 to 20 minute tutorial video just adding juice to something. I think that's a good idea. So maybe I'm misunderstanding something, but I don't know how this is grabbing the focus here. Assembled gun ingot selector. I think what I need to do here is, where is this being used? My cat is going insane right now. Stop. Stop it. Goodness. Do you prefer C# events or Godot signals? Well, I mean, are you talking about the event style signal connection? Because you can use the event, like the C# event system to connect Godot signals. Doing it that way has a couple of problems, though. There's like a couple of edge cases where signal disconnection won't happen. So in that case, using the default connection, using the default connection for signals fixes those issues, but so I need to figure out what I'm doing with this focus. I don't think I can just start grabbing the focus in here. I don't even know if I should use this has focus anymore. Assembled gun ingot animator. Where is this being used? It's being used in the dual part selection UI. Okay, I think I can pretty safely do this. I'm gonna get rid of this has focus. There. We can get rid of these redundant parentheses. Get rid of the has focus, and then we need to keep track of it if it's hovered though. And that's not gonna be possible right now because the mouse is being ignored here. So we'll pass. We'll do pass on the mouse instead, which is going to allow it to intercept events. And maybe we can do... Oh wait, does mouse entered still work if we don't use that mouse signal? Hold on, let's see. Mouse entered. Okay, yeah, so we do need to have that mouse filter set to pass. So in the ready method here, let's do this. Mouse entered plus equals on mouse entered. Mouse exited plus equals on mouse exited. So on mouse entered, private void on mouse exited. Let's see what we got going on here. So we need to store a private bool is hovered. Is hovered equals true. Is hovered equals false. And then in this, oh, I guess I should have kept those parentheses. Oh well. So we'll do this, and is hovered. Okay, so that's basically functionally the same, but I wonder if that's going to work now, if I can scroll those now. Oh, I got errors. Oh, those errors are not relevant. Okay. So let's go ahead and extract a bunch of these. We'll equip that there. Equip that one there. Nice, now I can scroll, so that's working great. So I think that's looking good. These titles are a little bit weird. I also need to add scrolling to these things, like scroll panels. So I think I might do that next. Add some scrolling both to this. Well, do I want to add scrolling here? I probably don't need to add scrolling here. Yeah, I got to figure out, I'll probably add scroll to this one and to this one. And then since these can scroll, I don't need to add scrolls to these affixes here, those affix inventories. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that a shot. I'm gonna hide this tooltip. Goodbye. And in the inventory grid manager, I'm gonna hide that as well. Okay, we can see this much easier now. I think what I'm gonna do for this VBox container, available gun parts, gun part panel container. What happens if I select both of these and I do, oh, this is gonna be difficult actually. Let's just try changing the layout here. Expand vertical. So we could expand both of those vertically, but then we want to add a scroll to it, which is going to be a little bit of a problem because I need to insert the scroll container in here. And I don't know if that's just going to work out of the box or what. It may not work out of the box. I suppose I should just test that immediately here. So the scroll container is cutting off the content, which is not ideal. I wonder, I don't really have much experience with scroll containers, so there might be some way that I can disable the clipping of children. That would be nice. I should first see if the scroll even works. So this available rune inventory grid here. What I'm gonna do is where am I calling set capacity? Let's do new capacity times 3. I'm just gonna up this capacity so that way we get a lot of inventory slots. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and do it. Oh, solo leveling. Thank you. Thank you for purchasing. Very much appreciate that. And welcome back to the stream. Okay, so that's what the scroll looks like. So I wonder then if it's going to be appropriate. This scroll actually looks decent. It actually looks decent. So I wonder if it's going to be appropriate to maybe add a margin container here. Might have to nest some margin containers. So margin container inside of the scroll container with constants of like -8 in every direction. I have no clue what that's going to do. Okay, that is not correct. Maybe I want to do the other way. So we got margin container inside of the scroll container. Let's get rid of these. I don't think that's going to work either. I think that's going to be awkward. Oh, actually that worked. So I think what I can do then is I can set a 0 margin for all these except for the margin right, because we want to put a little bit of padding on the right hand side for the scroll container. Okay, perfect. That actually looks great. Yeah, that looks good. Now it's getting cut off on the left. It's getting cut off on the left, which is not good. So I need to figure out how to make that not happen. I might have to do what I was going to do originally, which is like have a margin container parent, make this margin left like -4, and then add a +4 margin left here. I might need to even do more than that. Wish I could more easily see what was going on here. Let's try, let's do inventory slot in here. Can I just duplicate this a bunch and see what happens? Object reference not set to an instance of object. I'm not, I don't know why that's erroring. Oh, because it's updating real time in the game. Okay, never mind. So if I go to my Gunforged UI, is that going to be better? Let's go ahead and find out, I suppose. Hello, K-Clouds, greetings. Okay, now we can see the icons on the left. We need to do the same for the top though, and probably the same for the bottom. So let's delete all these. So this margin container here, let's do margin top -4, then this margin container, margin top 4. There we go. Now it's not being cut off anymore. Sweet. So that scroll container is working. Now these are broken here. And so that's the problem with adding the scroll container, is I need to probably set some kind of fixed height for this. So what I could do is layout, container sizing. I don't necessarily want to do expand. Or do I want to do expand? Let's try it. Let's do expand here. I guess I could do, no, I think that's, I'm gonna have to rethink some of this, I think. Oops. Nice. So that's shrinking. Yeah, so this gets shrunk down pretty heavily here. And I can scroll this now. That's just kind of awkward though. Especially this width here. So we could do shrink begin. No, that won't work either. It needs to have a minimum size, which I believe I could probably measure if I do this. If I do inventory slot here. Oh, goodness. Am I gonna have to guesstimate how tall this needs to be at a minimum size? I guess I don't need to guesstimate, I can just go until it has, okay, so 49 pixels. So that'll be my custom minimum size, and then that creates this situation now, which... Wait, does that even help at all? I suppose what I could do is I could do ×2. Maybe I'll just put it back the way that it was, and then... That's so awkward. Oh, man. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tricky to get this all working correctly. I might have to somehow break up this inventory grid so that I can have finer grain control over the scroll containers. Planning to add any bonus content for the puzzle game? I may add some bonus content. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. There's already 107 lessons, though. Okay, so that adds a scroll bar, but it's just so awkward. It's like, it's not tall enough. And I think it would be equally awkward to just make it like ×2 and just have this big block of empty space. Okay, hold on. The cat is slamming cabinets. I have to go stop him. Alright, sorry about that. As soon as I start up a stream is when the cat decides to act up. Oh well, that's how it goes. I feel often doing what you want isn't as difficult as knowing what you want. That's a good point. Okay, so I need to figure out what to do with these scroll bars here. I don't know. Can you hear my cat meowing like a madman? That's very distracting. Okay, let's see. So add that there. Yeah, this just looks so bad. Oh, I just found out that that needs to be hidden as well. So that warning indicator needs to be hidden. And then I need to figure out what to do with this. I don't really know what to do here. I think maybe adding the scroll container in here is not a good idea. Like maybe I should separate the grid and the panel. So I might have to do some restructuring here. Although, wait a minute. I'm going to need a scroll here anyway. I should be able to make it work with just one. I think the real problem here is that that size is just awkward. So what happens if I take this? I already tried this, but if I do shrink center, okay, that brings it in line. The problem though is that if it's not actively scrolling, then there's like this big awkward chunk here. Is there a way to control that with the scroll container? I don't think there is. I think the only way to do it would be to control it with the theme, maybe? Yeah, I don't see any options here that will help me with that. Wait, so that means that also, in this case, there's going to be extra space here. But that expands to accommodate the grid. Godot really needs like a max height property. This would be so much easier if I had a max height, because I could allow this to grow until it hits until it shows 2 rows, and then if it tries to grow beyond that, it would kick in the scroll bar, right? But I don't think there's an easy way to do that. The art pack you use for the course is open source? Yep. Yeah, it's called Tiny Swords. It's public domain. Yes, indeed. Okay, so I don't know what to do about this, to be honest. The other option is just to allow this to grow indefinitely and not have a scroll bar added to it, which seems like it could be a viable option as well. So in that case, that means that I do need to separate these scroll containers from the grid container here. So I'm going to save this branch as a scene. Scenes, UI, Forge. This is the... This is going to be my inventory grid now. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's show this one in the file system. Let's rename this. Well, actually, I don't even want to rename it. I just want to... Okay, let's remove this script. Let's copy these nodes. We will paste them here. Oh, it just copied that whole scene. Okay, that's not good. I wanted to copy these nodes, not the scene. Make local. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we've got this inventory grid now. So let's actually, you know what? I keep going back and forth on what I'm doing here. Okay, let's do this. Let's rename this one to scrollable inventory grid. Let's show this in file system. Okay, let's rename this to scrollable inventory grid. And then let's also look for the file inventory grid. This is actually fine. I'm actually going to leave that script there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my scrollable inventory grid now, and I'm going to save this grid container as the inventory grid here. So save that. Then I can go to this scene and I can attach that script like so, load that up. This needs to change to grid container, and everywhere where I'm referencing that grid container needs to be removed now. So we're just simplifying things a little bit. Cool. Nope, not cool yet. Non-generic argument cannot be used with type. Oh, get children dot cast. There we go. Okay. So there's our inventory grid. We will need a scrollable inventory grid because for the following reason. I want to be able to forward a reference to that inventory grid. So we'll do scripts, UI scrollable inventory grid, node custom, create, namespace game.ui.forge, node, public, inventory grid, get, private, set. Okay. And then that's already marked as unique name, so that's good. So we'll go to our Gunforged UI and we're gonna fix some things here. So this available rune inventory grid is now gonna become instantiate child scene scrollable inventory grid. We're gonna copy this name. I probably need to set this back to expand, don't I? Yeah, expand. So that's our available rune inventory grid. Okay, now that's actually going to need to change from inventory grid to scrollable inventory grid. And that's going to break a bunch of things. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's do this instead. Scrollable available inventory grid. Private inventory grid, available inventory grid. We're going to return the scrollable.inventory grid. Okay. This is available rune inventory grid. Okay, that's just going to fix all those issues for me, hopefully. And this will be called scrollable available rune inventory grid. Let's just make sure that I've not broken anything. This left inventory grid now, this actually needs to change. So I need to remove that. I need to add a panel container. Change that theme type to ingot panel container, and then I can instantiate the inventory grid. And what did I call this? Left inventory grid. Oops. Okay, then we'll do the same thing. I'm just going to copy this and paste this underneath the right gun container. Get rid of that right inventory grid. Call this right inventory grid. Mark that as unique name, and we should be good now. Let's see what breaks. You have plans to make a multiplayer network course? Yes, I do want to do that. I want to finish Gunforged first, and then I want to start working on my next game after Gunforged. My next game after Gunforged is going to make heavy use of... It is going to make heavy use of multiplayer. I think I've told you. So my next game after Gunforged is going to be basically the Globin's formula. So it's a single screen where, you know, amorphous kind of characters pop out of the ground and you kill them. But it's set in a high fantasy universe with RPG mechanics. So you can play as an elf archer, you could play as a dwarf, paladin, or whatever, and all of the globins that pop up are going to be like fantasy creatures like orcs and spiders and goblins and, you know, other various things. And then the idea is that it'll be basically the Globin's formula where it's just a single screen, but after every wave, you get like loot explosions with all kinds of RPG equipment that enhance your stats. And then you kind of like, you play with your friends so that you kind of say like, oh, this piece of equipment is good for you, or this is good for me. You get all kitted up and then you start the next round, and there could be like skill trees and all that kind of good stuff. So I think that would be supremely fun as a multiplayer game. And also easy enough for me to execute on, where I'm not going to have to spend nearly as much time on it as Gunforged. So just be a dwarf chef. Yeah, I mean, something like that. But I think like I'm so excited about that game. Actually, I don't know. Should I show you? Should I show you? I kind of started sketching it out a little bit already. So this is obviously not final art at all, but I just took kind of like the Globin style, and I just started, you know, noodling around with some like environment, and, you know, I've got like a little goblin, little orc character, and then I did a dwarf with equipment on just to get the ideas flowing. But yeah, just imagine the Globin style, like juicy gameplay, lots of particles, and you fight these monsters. So that's the idea. This is like just to give you a very brief glimpse into how I'm thinking about this game, but that is taking all of my willpower not to start working on immediately. So I have to finish Gunforged first before I move on to the next project. But yeah, that's what's coming next after Gunforged. So love it. Nice. They are adorable. Great. Hello, Abo. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Also, hello to Dragon Apple. I don't think I've formally greeted you. Good morning to you as well. How to protect export a game from deep compiling for source code. I do not believe that's possible. Even AAA games can't do that. People mod and hack AAA games all the time because it's just... The rule of thumb is that any code that ends up on a client machine is insecure. So what you can do is you can do various obfuscation mechanisms, like scrambling the code, basically. Godot does support encrypting the source code, but the thing about the encryption is that the encryption key has to be stored within the distributed binary anyway, so somebody could still find the key within the executable and then decrypt the rest of the code. So it's just, as a rule, you're not going to be able to protect the code that well when you deliver it to a client. So hello, Rencode, by the way. I don't think I said hello to you either. Am I a bit late? Just a little bit. We're not even an hour into the stream here. Will we be cooking monsters then? Maybe. Finish Gunforged, stay on target. Yeah, we gotta finish. Gotta stay on target. So is this working here? It's not. Cool. Cool, it's broken already. Nice. Oh, we got a debugger error here, though. Oh, I gotta update my inventory grid manager component here, too. So I think I need to make this editable children so I can reference this now in... Well, actually, do I need to do that? Let's see. So I go to my inventory grid manager component. Let's assign... So left inventory grid, right inventory grid, and then I also probably need to make this editable so I can reference this one. There we go. All right. Actually, do I need to do that? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Hi, if you're planning networking course, what kind of topics will you explain? FPS-like concepts or, for example, lag compensation? That's a good question. Admittedly, I have to do a bunch more learning about networking myself. The Globin's multiplayer that I released to my itch.io yesterday, I believe, which you can go and play, by the way, if you want to try it with a friend. That does not use any sort of prediction, so it's just basically in lockstep. So that means that you send your inputs as a client, you have to wait for the round trip response before those inputs get reflected on your client machine. I was going to explore looking at network or client-side prediction to make movement snappier. I just didn't get around to it for globins. So I'm imagining if I did make a multiplayer course, it would include things like the client-side prediction for movement. So that involves lag compensation. There's also a library called NetFox, which allows you to, or which gives you tools for doing like rollbacks and stuff, I believe. So I need to do some exploration with that. But the kind of topics that I can cover is like network discovery with UPnP, so automatically opening up routers and getting your public IP address, so that way you don't have to use any third-party services or whatever to connect directly to people. I'm going to cover like server authority and making the server authoritative for everything that's happening. Writing the shared code to account for whether the code is being run on the server or the client. Sending things like data. So in globins, when you get your 3 passive upgrades, all of the passive upgrades for each of the players is being determined on the server side, and then the IDs are being sent over the network so that the player can display the cards. And then the player sends an input back that says, I selected this one, which gets registered on the server. So that's part of the server authoritativeness. But I'll learn a lot more about that for this game that I want to make after Gunforged, because obviously the clients aren't going to be able to generate their own loot in their own instance, right? The server needs to generate the loot and then broadcast, okay, here's all the loot items that got generated with all the stats and everything. And you know, figuring out how to architect that so that it's fast, number one, and number two, so that it's reliable. So anyway, there's a very clear lack of like real world examples for multiplayer. And I think that there's a huge opportunity for me to make a course that kind of goes into a more mature example of what a multiplayer game looks like. But there's only so much time in my life, and I'm going to be working on Gunforged and then this next game for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. We'll see. When did I start game development? I started when I was 14. I'm almost 30 now. So 16 years ago, I started with Game Maker and just doodling around with the drag and drop. The C# course is finished, Abo. So if you check the first link in the description below, you can get it at a discounted price for the next 7 days. That goes for everyone else as well. Happy the course is finally out. Wanted to ask if I also stream on Twitch. I do not. I just stream on YouTube. But thank you, Forgotten. Appreciate it. I wanted to share I've been doing your Godot 4 Survivors course on my MacBook Pro with Godot 4.3. It's been super smooth so far. Nice. I'm glad to hear that. Is Godot suitable for making Discord games? I do not know the answer to that question. Assuming that the Discord games are HTML5 or whatever, maybe. The thing is, I don't know if Discord has any additional requirements, like if you need to extend the scripts or import some scripts or whatever, like JavaScript, that might be difficult to do in Godot, but I'm not sure. Double stream is double incoming. I can look at how to, do you know of an easy way to stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time? From OBS? Anyway, so is this working now? Yeah, it's working. Cool. So what happens now if I equip that there? Equip that there. I need 4 rune slots. Give me 4 rune slots, please. There's 3. Can we get another one? Nope. I just want this to go to the next line to see what happens. But now that this is not a scrollable thing anymore, what I can do is I can go to my layout here, and I can change this container sizing to shrink center, so that way it expands and contracts normally. There we go. That's not correct. I think I need to go into my inventory grid and remove this inventory slot there. Why is this not being disappeared now? Oh. Left inventory grid. Right, it's the panel container. Left inventory panel container. Right inventory panel container. I need to grab those things. So left inventory panel container. Right inventory panel container. And then here, refresh affix inventory. Okay. Hopefully that works to hide those things now. Big news, Unity runtime removed and going to subscription model. Is that so? Are you developing on Windows or Linux? I'm on Windows right now. Sorry to hear about the crashing. Yeah, maybe Windows would help. I'm assuming you probably looked at all the other reasons why it might be crashing. This one is not showing the correct upgrade indicator, so I gotta fix the upgrade indicators as well. Let's see, I think I did this logic wrong. Let's see. Foregun part inventory button in part grid container. Okay. Left gun stats with part. Oh, yep. That's wrong. That needs to be dot right. Okay, now the indicator should be correct. Basically, those indicators should show green arrows if the DPS is going up for any gun that it would be slotted into, or the rune slots is going up for any gun it would be slotted into. So the reason this one has a green arrow is not because it's benefiting this left gun necessarily, it's because it's benefiting this right gun. So I can right click that. Let's remove that rune, remove that rune. Now I've got a whole bunch of runes down here. And that looks great. Okay, I think there's one final thing I want to change, which is that this warning indicator needs to disappear when I grab an inventory slot. So let's go to inventory slot. How am I going to do that? Guess I got to create a show warning boolean. Oops, this needs to be false. Show warning equals true. Guess I can just call update visibility like so. And in update visibility, what we'll do is we'll say warning. Let's return show warning here, and then warning texture rect dot visible is equal to show warning and not force invisible. I think that ought to work. Nice, that's working great now. So that warning icon is now disappearing when I pick up a rune here. Sweet. Okay, there we go. We got 4 runes now. Sweet. I think that's going to work great. Maybe it's time to go into the real game and test it out now. So let's see. UI tweaks. Sync those changes. All right, let's see. What does node attribute do? That's a good question. So I have at my GitHub, let's see if I can pull it up. Oops. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull it up. I just need to change a hotkey here real quick. I messed with my messed with some of my browser settings, and now I'm okay. Well, I'll have to mess with that later. But anyway, sorry for the delay. So I've got a Godot utilities. I don't know what you call it. Package repository here. So if you go to my repository, github.com/firebelly/Godot utilities, this is a couple of source generators basically. And so what I did was I wrote these node and scene attributes, and basically what they do is they generate code that will automatically match that node up with a node in your scene tree. So in this case, this node attribute here, what it will do is it'll basically look in your tree for any direct children that are named dimmed background, or it will find a unique node with the name dimmed background. And so when you mark all these as nodes, it sets up the source generators to do that. And then you can call wire nodes here in the instantiated notification, and that connects all those nodes up to those members. So that's basically how it works. I started reading How to Make a Video Game All by Yourself by Matt Hackett. It's a short read. Do you have any book recommendations for beginners? I am not a big book reader in terms of like the tech book stuff. So I unfortunately do not have any recommendations. Bit better if you make a video on Godot utilities and its features, you can redirect to that video. Yeah, I should do that. But absent having that, I will I'll just keep briefly explaining it. Absent that, I will keep briefly explaining it. How much does the course cost? Well, it varies. Like Udemy changes the cost for based on what region you're in, and also Udemy will run their own promotions. But if you visit the link in the description below, regardless of where you are, you should see that it's heavily discounted. Okay, so what was I going to do? I was going to play the game and see if this actually works in reality, right? In dollars, so in US dollars, the course is $80. And in US dollars, the price that you'll get it for using the discount code in the description is $30. And that's for 24 and a half hours of video content. And I've also, for this course, uploaded the code for each lesson. So you can download each of the code snapshots essentially for each lesson as you go. So if you want to skip ahead or whatever, you can absolutely do that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the discounted price looks like for other regions where they change. Like, I don't know. Because the way the promotions work is I set a US dollar price, but I'm assuming that that gets modified based on what region you're redeeming the code in, so. Okay, so now we've got these. Nice. So I've got some gun parts. Available runes. Got no available runes. This gives me a gun slot, or a rune slot, so I'm gonna equip that there. Got poison there. This is an increase in DPS for both guns, but I'm gonna equip that on the right gun there. Yeah, I think that's good, okay. Sweet, let's go. Ooh, that's a rune. Give me that. Ow. How am I already almost dead? That's ridiculous. It's 30 pounds in the UK, so Udemy probably using the Apple conversion rate. $30 is a steal for so much content. Yeah, I think so. I think it's good. That's the reason I'm only offering it for 7 days, though. It's just like an early bird bonus, I guess you could say, if you wanted to use a marketing term. But yeah, then it'll go up. But you know, Udemy does run various promotions on my behalf a lot of times. So a lot of times you can wait a little bit and then you can get the course at a cheaper rate. Don't tell anyone I said that though. Add 1 fire stack to enemies. So I want to, yeah, let's, well, my speed is going to go down, my spread is going to go up, but that gives me 2 rune slots. And I'm going to put bullets pierce through enemies on that one, and fire stack is a good idea. And might as well put that bullets pierce on that one as well. Yeah, that's so much easier. That screen is so much better than the old screen I had. I'm glad I took the time to address that. Wow, this thing is like a 180 degree range. Do you see that? It's like basically everything in a... Oh, I died already. Jeepers. Let's retry. So retry button doesn't work. That's good to know. Okay, starting the course by. All right, sounds good. See you later, solo leveling. Yeah, so far, I think it's coming along. This Gunforged. This little Gunforged thing is coming along. I do want to animate the this screen because it just kind of pops in. And I don't know what the best way to do that would be. Do I have any errors? I have errors here. Cannot access a disposed object. Oh, that probably happened earlier. Okay. Let's put that on the right gun. DPS goes up, fire rate goes down. Here we go. Okay, I think that's fine. The lightning is ridiculous. Look at that. It's basically completely haphazard. Okay, my get down, Mr. President bodyguard already died. Saves me from getting killed though. So I think the game is a little bit difficult, but I think that's fine because in typical roguelite fashion, there's going to be like meta upgrades. Upgrade. Zap. I like Zap, but I also like increase health, so I'm going to take that. Oh, I got a rune in here. That's a bleed rune, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Oh, that... Yeah, there's another problem there. So that preview needs to be updated. If I remove the rune and it's currently the gun that's being, or the gun part that's being previewed, the preview needs to be updated. Anyway, that's not important right now. And what's this one? 5 rune slots? What? Actually, I'm going to put this on the other gun. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll put the bleed on that one. Sounds good to me. Poison and bleed. I got a codex entry. Poison and bleed. I was going to do status interactions for all the different statuses that can interact together, but I don't think that I should build that system out. So that's going to get cut from the scope. Are there any Godot C# libraries that you'd recommend except Godot utilities? Not Godot libraries specifically, but in the course, we actually go over implementing NuGet packages. Well, one NuGet package in particular, which is newtonsoft.json, which is a NuGet package that's used for reading and writing or serializing and deserializing JSON data. And so, you know, one of the benefits of C# is you can use a lot of NuGet packages that are just available for enterprise use or whatever, and you can use that in your game with no problems. So Godot specific libraries, no, again, besides Godot utilities, but you could basically pull anything off of NuGet. Like the most impressive example, I think, and not because I did it, but just because I was surprised at how well it worked, is I actually pulled in a NuGet package that offered a different physics 2D engine for just like, it just offered a 2D physics engine. It was called Chipmunk 2D. And I pulled that NuGet package into my project and I wrote my own nodes for physics interaction to like interact with that 2D Chipmunk engine, and it worked just fine. And I was like, wow, I just totally grabbed another physics engine off of NuGet and just used that for the game, which was crazy. But anyway, hello Brekheck. For animating the UI, my first thought is that they could fall from above the screen and slam into place. Yes, I should definitely do something like that. Yeah, that definitely needs to be. I think the screen was animated before I started absolutely destroying it. So fire rate, if we put this here, this increases the rune slots and the speed and the number of bullets. And the spread goes way up though. I think I'm going to put that on the right gun, actually. Oh, wait, did I lose oh, I lost a rune slot. So I don't want to do that, actually. Okay. Look at that. A hailstorm of bullets. So yeah, this game is a little bit hard, but I think I'm going to keep it hard intentionally, and then I'm going to follow the classic roguelite formula where the game just becomes easier by the virtue of you upgrading your meta progression or whatever. I'm trying to figure out uses for gold. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the gold for the meta progression as well. So the gold that you collect in-game will be used for both buying in-game, like the run upgrades, and whatever gold you leave with will be the gold that's used for your meta upgrades. So maybe there'll be a choice between, do I want an upgrade now or do I want to save it for meta upgrades? I don't have any shock, I don't think. Let's do clear nearby bullets on dash. Well, there's a shock stack now. Let's extract those runes, so I got both of those now. None of these are really upgrades. Wait, this DPS goes up and it doesn't mark it as... Let me just make sure this is correct. Nope, this is not correct. I gotta replace that here too. Wow, how did I not update those? Okay. That's why it was broken. Okay, well, I'm not gonna restart the game to fix that, but little bugs come up. So we've got some rune slots to fill out. So let's put bullet split when it collides with enemy. Yeah, let's do that. And let's do lightning there. Sweet. This is feeling much, 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 much better. I like it. I'm gonna do something about these titles though. I might even do ingots for that as well. Just go full out on the whole ingot style panel. Might as well, right? Ow, those freaking spider centaurs are the bane of my existence. I forgot though I can clear bullets on dash, so I need to do that. Oop. My get down, Mr. President. Guy died. That is so handy. Ow. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Increase movement speed by 30%. That's a good one. Summon a blood golem when a bleeding enemy dies. Let's do that one. Because I've got blood here, a blood rune. I'm going to take that bullet pierce. This is increase, oh, lower capacity, but increase in rune slots. Do I want to use that? Bullets pierce through enemies. Let's put that one there. Do I want bullet split? Actually, you know what? I probably want to maximize the amount of bleed that I'm applying with this so I can maximize the number of blood golems that I'm getting. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this shock affix and put it on this one, then put the pierce through that one. And so what I've got now is I've got bullet split when they hit enemies, but then they'll also pierce enemies. So they'll hit more than one enemy, or they'll hit a lot of enemies instead of just a handful. Okay, we're gonna have to see how that works. Course equals got. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. There's the blood golems. I don't know if you guys have seen the blood golems in a while, but remember the blood golems have like the Hulk Hogan style, like, I don't know. They got mohawks and sunglasses. That's so funny to me. I don't know why. In a game where you have banana guns, you've also got blood golems with sunglasses and mohawks. And goatees, I think. They're hard to see while everything's going on, but... thank you. I haven't gotten like a special interaction event yet. Increase stamina by 1. Let's do increase stamina by 1, yeah. Do we have anything good here? We got a rune slot increase here. Probably going to need to do a DPS increase at some point, but I don't want to get rid of my rune slots, so that's kind of unfortunate. Oh well. I see you're using signals. Do you have any opinions on using events versus signals when using C#? Always use signals. Now, what you may be referring to as the signal style or the event style signal connection. So there's a way to connect to signals in Godot, which uses the like plus equals syntax that you typically use for C# events. But yeah, I would just always use signals. I would use the notification system or the observer pattern, whatever you want to call it, that the engine provides, rather than doing that sometimes, but then having a parallel sort of system for doing that in terms of events. I would just keep it consistent. Because otherwise, yeah, I think my suspicion is that you'd run into a lot of headaches having two parallel systems and dealing with the order of operations between both of those things and all that stuff. See what we got here. I still haven't received an event. Create an explosion when magazine becomes empty. That's a good one. I should probably detail how much damage that explosion does. Bullet splits when colliding with enemy. Let's grab that rune. This is a DPS increase with a fire rate decrease. Let's equip that over there. A little banana receiver. That's a downgrade. Okay. And I might as well put shock grenade on this one, right? Yeah, might as well. This is feeling good, if I'm being honest. I can definitely see this game feeling really good after I cut the scope and I streamline the UI and everything. Add more content. A lot of work to do still. A lot of work to do. But like I said, I'm targeting end of December timeline for this to be fully released, so we'll see what happens. Oh, that's a rune. I need it. Thank you. That guy got stuck. Rip. Summon a blood golem. Ooh. Why is that showing different now? Wait, why can I get two of these? Wait, hold on. That's not right. Max stacks is 1. It's not working again. No. It should have removed the blood golem from the stack. It did not remove it. Why didn't it remove it? I don't even remember where that code is. I'm gonna have to figure out why that's not happening, or why that's not working again. Here, register passive picked. On player passive added. I'm pretty sure I fixed this, did I not? I don't know. It should have removed update bias loot table. Player passive occurrences and passive resource max stacks not equal to 0. Filter loot table item. I don't know why that's not working. I'm going to need to figure that out. Yeah, it never got removed. Okay, well. Just joined that new UI looks great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's a lot better. Okay, let's just take imaginary friend though. Did imaginary friend get removed? That's the question. Nope. Something's not working. Something's not working. So anyway, what was I gonna do? There was something, well, I'll finish this run here. I don't think there were any upgrades really. Ooh, that's a DPS upgrade, but I have to remove a rune slot. Ooh, that's a DPS upgrade for the right gun though. This is just a straight up speed and spread lowering. Let's do that. Nice. Oh my gosh, my cat is going crazy again. Got a lot of blood golems, though. This is crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Yep. That's crazy. What kind of cat do I have? He's a Sphinx naked cat. Okay, that quit to menu doesn't work either. Okay, I need to be able to sell runes now too. I need to implement that as well. So maybe we'll work on selling runes in the next little portion of this live stream. I think that sounds good. And updating the titles and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna take a couple minute break. I'm gonna see if I can go settle down the cat. But in the meantime, if you would like, you could check out the newly released C# course. It's the first link in the description below. You can get it for a very discounted price right now for the next 7 days. And you could check out my other links in the description as well while I'm away. Give me a couple minutes and we'll be right back to continue working on all of this. Oops, I'm back. I accidentally switched to the stream starting screen for a brief moment there. It is what it is. Okay. So I got a couple of things to do for this UI. First thing I want to do is change these titles here. So this available runes title. This can probably be another panel container. And we will just go ahead and go to the theme here. Type variation ingot panel container. Put the available runes in there. And then change this theme variant to engraved label. Does that look good? I think it's probably acceptable. Okay, so we got the available gun parts, and then I can go ahead and change this theme type variation to engraved. There we go. All right. So I think that looks a little bit better. Hey, Alex. Thanks so much for your YouTube content. It's helped me out so much with my project. Hope you and yours are well today. Thank you. Likewise. Very much appreciate that. Always glad to hear that my content is helping people out. This is interesting. There's a little bit of wonkiness here, I think, because this is stretching to expand. I might still play with this. With the scroll a little bit, but I think it's fine for now. This is expand. Is this set to expand as well? Layout, container sizing, that's also set to expand, okay. I wonder why that one ends up being smaller, or am I just... Oh, because this doesn't have a scroll on it. Right, so this grows and this has to shrink. Okay. All right, that makes sense. There's never going to be that many gun parts here. As a matter of fact, I don't even think this gun part should be set to expand, honestly. Maybe the available runes should just be... Just we'll have to see how it looks in game, but yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay, I think that looks good enough. Let's see if we can get some rune selling done. So that's going to require an update to the tooltip here. But let's get just the keybind working for it. So on sell rune button pressed, we need to change this. I think what I'll do is just create a new method here on inventory slot sell pressed. And then here, let's uncomment this and let's just fix this up as we go. Do I not have a way to remove? Add affix to available affix grid. I don't have a way of removing one, so that's not good. So I'm going to have to update that. Player gold manager add rune item, rune sell price, which is 5. Okay. Got some floating text that's going to be initialized here with a z index of 2. Okay. Available runes equals rune get grid container. Okay, none of this is necessary anymore. So I need to be able to remove a rune. Let's just see if this much works. Oh, I need to create a keybind for that. So what does it actually do? What are my keybinds actually doing here? Hello, Rin Carmichael. Yeah, Gunforged. Full steam ahead on Gunforged here. So these runes here, pick up, equip to left gun, equip to right gun. So we need one that's like maybe like control and left click to sell. Let's do an input map. Left click with control. Control left mouse button. Okay. Now let's go to our inventory slot. Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm currently storing the hovered inventory slot. So let's do that. Private inventory slot, hovered inventory slot. In unhandled input, we'll do else if evt.isAction pressed. We need a sell action. All right, cat is finally calming down. All right, anyway, inventory, so hovered inventory slot. So if the action is pressed, action sell. And let's just do is instance valid hovered inventory slot. Oh, and hovered inventory slot dot gun part affix is not equal to null. Then we're going to do on inventory slot sell pressed. I guess that doesn't really make sense anymore. So let's just do sell hovered inventory slot. If not is instance valid, hovered inventory slot, then we'll just return. Or hovered inventory slot dot gun part affix equals null. Goodness, this UI is freaking massive. Okay, so this needs to be moved a little bit up. I just like to keep all my signal handlers together at the bottom of the class. Okay, and then let's go to the hovered inventory slot. Actually, you know what? I think I can do this. Hovered inventory slot dot gun part affix is equal to null. Oh, I can't set it to null. Set affix null. And then we're going to call sync available affix. And then where is this called elsewhere? Update available affix grid capacity. Okay. Also, I'm just realizing that I have this ×3 in a couple places, so I'll get rid of that. Okay. Is that just going to work? Let's give it a shot. Hello, David. Glad to see you again. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Is the wavy effect on the card's banner a shader? It is indeed. It is a shader, yes. Sorry I missed the previous streams. I was sad. I'm sorry to hear that. But welcome back to the stream. Good to see you, Lucas. What was the fix for the performance issues in the demo? Basically just waiting for Godot, later Godot versions. I need to update the demo at some point, but I gotta get some good development done on this first. But yeah, the demo has a lot of problems. I think the demo was using Vulkan as well, which was crashing, especially in early versions of Godot 4. So, okay, can I sell this now? So if I do control left click, it does not work. Oh wait, I had it right before. Yeah, I had this. Oh god, I need to actually, yeah. I need to handle that in the inventory slot in the GUI input here. Else if EVT dot is action pressed, action sell. Should I get McDonald's for lunch? Let's do a poll of my audience. Should I have McDonald's as today a McDonald's kind of day? I probably shouldn't. Public delegate void sell pressed event handler. Yes, lol. All right, you convinced me. So when this cell press gets emitted from the inventory slot, I can listen to it in here. So yeah, so I need to go to my inventory grid now, and I need to have signal public delegate void inventory slot cell pressed event handler inventory slot. Child dot cell pressed plus equals on cell pressed private void on cell pressed inventory slot. Okay, and we're going to emit the signal inventory slot cell pressed, and then in here I'm going to listen to that in my available rune inventory grid. Inventory slot cell pressed on inventory slot cell pressed. And actually, I can just add this directly. I can get rid of this hovered inventory slot. I don't need that anymore. This is going to become on inventory slot cell pressed with the inventory slot being passed in. And I guess I don't really need this anymore. Okay. Let's see if that works. Hello, Jack Heinrich. Thank you. Wouldn't be my first choice. Oh, you're talking about McDonald's. This needs to go away now. How much more do you need to finish before a game's done? Quite a bit. There's a lot of content I need to do. There's some environment and enemy design I need to do. all that kind of good stuff. Ooh, look at that, 5 gold, let's go. Do you see how cool that was? Haha, that's so cool. Oh, but I can do it when it's invisible as well, which is bad. So let's fix that. So we don't want it to be sellable if it's currently being picked up by the mouse. Cool. Okay, let's add a tooltip for that. Let's see, Adam Smith. Just to clarify, do you just set up a signal to a middleman script and then send another signal to another one? Yeah, so essentially what's happening is, so I just implemented an action, an input map action for control clicking, and I called it action cell. So it's control left click. The way that input works in Godot is that it will be handled by the elements that are deeper and lower in the scene tree first, before being handled by elements that are higher in the scene tree. Now the problem is that in order to intercept this GUI input event as early as possible, I needed to put it on the inventory slot, and an inventory slot is just that. It's just a slot that goes in the inventory grid. And so in order to be able to handle it as quickly as possible without, you know, that event bubbling up into the tree elsewhere, I handle it here at the inventory slot. So I'm handling that is action pressed. Do I actually need to set input handled? I need to accept event in here. So I need to do this as well. Oops. But anyway, so that's being handled here. And then once that event is handled here, I need to bubble the fact that I've done a cell action on an inventory slot all the way back to the UI script, right? So the UI is the script that drives this entire screen. And so there's a middleman though, which is the grid, the inventory grid, right? So the inventory grid essentially forwards those inventory slot, but it does an additional thing, which is that it includes a reference to the inventory slot of the relevant signal, right? So in here, in this set capacity, this is where it's setting up all its inventory slots, and then it's connecting to all those inventory slot signals, but it's connecting with a lambda and including or calling the, for example, onslaught mouse exited with that specific child that is being handled. And so what I end up with is I end up with signal emissions from the inventory grid that send along the relevant inventory slot for which the action happened. And then now that I have that information in the Gunforged UI, I can do anything I need to do with that, if that makes sense. All right, am I done with Globins? Yes, I am. Although I do have another project that I'm going to be working on after Gunforged that is going to be modeled very heavily after Globins. So if you think Globins is fun and you want to see more of it, then, well, eventually. Yeah. Oh. Everyone seems to be excited about Globins, so that's a good sign, I think. So, yeah. So, what was I doing? I just need to test. Oh, I need to add a tooltip now for that stuff, but I also want to make sure that I also want to make sure that I am doing what? Right, I want to make sure that I'm accepting events anywhere I'm using GUI input. Okay, just for good practice. So now let's add some extra tooltip information. Let's duplicate this. Let's call this info cell container. Texture rect is going to be, let's make this unique. It's going to be the left click here. I think I'm just squishing this up right against the edge. Yeah, there we go. So cell, but this also needs to be plus, and then another texture rect here. Make unique. Okay, where is control? Here it is. Now that one is white. So that needs to change. Okay, it has been changed. So there's the info cell container. So now we need to update the script to handle that. Set info panel details. Show affix alternate. Yeah, I think that's what I want. So, well, I need to get a reference to that first. Node private control info cell container, I think is what it was called. And then we'll do info cell container dot visible is equal to show affix alternate, I think. I actually don't remember what that does, but I'm assuming that's going to be correct. That did not work. Not show affix alternate. Is all the animation done with the animation player? A lot of it is. Some of it is done with tweens too. I probably want to move that cell below everything. Yeah, there we go. Am I cutting off the top of that? It looks like I am, yeah. There we go. Okay, tooltip is in place and selling is working now, so I can control click to sell to get 5 gold. Boom, boom, boom. So the other thing is that I want to update the gun preview if I'm extracting a rune. So I've got hovered gun part button, which I believe is being used. What happens if I click? Button dot pressed. On gun part button pressed, preview part index. So I'm not currently storing. So the problem is that if I go to my UI here and I've got a part that has a rune on it, but then I extract that rune, this preview doesn't update here. So I need to probably store the selected part index. So private int selected part index is equal to -1. on gun part button pressed, selected part index is equal to button.get index. I don't really need that anymore. So where's my equip gun part here? I'll just set this back to -1 in here after equipping. Okay, and then wherever extract rune is happening, if hovered gun part button dot get index is equal to selected part index, then we need to do refresh gun preview for left and right. And what that essentially does is that just refreshes the entire display of these things. So let's see if that works. What's the next vid going to be about? I don't know, probably some kind of tutorial of some kind. Just submitted a game for a game jam. Nice. Yeah, what game jam was it? Game jams are fun. Okay, that appears to be fixed now. I can go ahead and sell all these. Hee hee. Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and see what this looks like in game now. JS 13K game jam made a game with 13 kilobytes. Oh, that's fun. What tools did you use for it? Take the increased movement speed. We've got no available runes here. Although, I'm going to extract all the runes from there. This gives me more DPS and rune slots. Okay, let's do bullets pierce through enemies on that one, and let's do bleed on that one as well. Bullets pierce through enemies. Let's just go ahead and try the sell. Boom, I got 5 gold now. Sweet. Ooh, this one's actually better. Yeah, equip that there. Okay. It shoots very slow, though. I've used an engine called Little.js plus a lot of other minifier tools and compression, and hence it becomes below 13K. Gotcha. I actually still have room to add stuff. That's cool. I like challenges like that. That's pretty interesting. Reload both guns on dash. That's going to be huge. Let's get rid of that. Let's put that on there. DPS goes down, but rune slots go up. I don't think I need that. Let's just put that on there. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Yeah, this is feeling good, I think. Okay, now the one thing that I want to do now is I'm going to commit all this. So I'm going to commit that. I'm actually going to merge. I did this on a separate branch, so I'm going to go ahead and just take a moment here to merge that branch into my master branch here. So I'm probably going to have to close Godot so nothing gets messed up here. Okay. All right, back on the master branch. Everything should be good. Let's go back and open up Godot again. So the last thing I want to do is try to fix this bug once and for all where for some reason passives aren't working. And I'm going to see if I can figure this out. So dungeon arena. Debug mode on. Debug mode on. Okay, let's just go ahead and try it and Blood Brothers max stacks. Yeah, I just want to investigate this, so player passive table manager, gd.print passive resource.id. Let's do print s. We're going to print the ID and then we're going to print the passive resource.max stacks. And then let's also print the passive occurrences. Okay, I just need to see what's going on here. How do you add a loading screen? That's a good question. That's something that I'm still figuring out. I need to pre-compile all the shaders and particle effects before the game starts, and that is proving to be a very difficult thing to do. So if I choose Blood Torrent here, there's an error. Cannot access dispose object. Oh, maybe that's why it's not working. So that error is actually relevant. Affix loot table manager. Am I missing that? Hold on a second. Maybe it got lost when I did that refactoring of my arenas the other day. Affix loot table manager. Did I accidentally remove this somehow? Affix loot table manager. Is this even being used anywhere? Base level. Oh, it's being used in base level. It's here. Why is it saying that this is a disposed instance? Something weird's going on here. Would running each shader behind a black text rec before the title menu work? That's what I'm trying to do, but I have so many shaders at once, and as far as I can tell, Godot doesn't give you like any control over listening to when a shader is finished compiling. And so if I put like 90 different shaders all on the screen at once, the game just like locks up really hard. And then it also doesn't even succeed in compiling a lot of the shaders. I think it's just like bails for some reason. Like what we really need is like fine-grained control. Like I should be able to pass a shader resource into like some kind of Godot method and say, okay, compile this and then tell me when it's done so I can queue up the next one. As far as I'm aware, we don't have anything like that in Godot. So it's kind of like a crapshoot, if you will. So this isn't even working here. Why is this not working? It's being added to the group. It's just failing to get the affix table manager. Let's see. Can I see what, can I see which groups it's in here? It won't tell me which groups it belongs to. Should make a VR game someday. I thought about it. I have a MetaQuest 3, but I have so much stuff to do. I also don't know 3D that well. I'm not well versed in 3D development, so. I am very baffled as to why this is not working. It's saying that this is a disposed object, but it's right here. Get affix, get tree, get first node in group. Is it being added to the group correctly? That's the question. Are you making money from making games? Not really, not yet. But Gunforged is designed to change that. I have made some money from my games. It's not nothing, but it's not... It's not anything like super impressive. Yeah, this is, I don't know why this thinks it's disposed. So it's in the group, I verified that. What happens if I do this? Get tree dot get nodes in group. Affix loot table manager dot count. So I'm just going to print this. gd.print. Is the group not being updated? Unity removed the runtime fee. Yeah, somebody else mentioned that. That's pretty significant, huh? giving up on assembly reloading. Should I pay attention to that message or no? Okay, I think I need to restart Godot. Something's going wrong. Godot C# is still a little bit iffy in places. I don't know what that error is. There's a new error every time I run this game. On player passive added. Oh, I know why this is happening. It's because I've used this. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, shoot. This is probably going to be a problem for all of my nodes. So this is one of those instances where this C# signal connection method is presenting an error. So what's happening is that the affix loot table manager that exists in the hub room is being added. That this signal handler, this on player passive added, is being added to that game events player passive added signal. But then that old one is getting freed when the new one gets registered, but it doesn't deregister the signal handler using this style. And so it's trying to call on player passive added on a disposed object, which is why I'm getting that error. So what I need to do instead is I need to do game events.instance.connect game events dot signal name dot player passive added callable dot from on player passive added, like so. And there's probably going to be all kinds of issues from this. But using this style of connection will fix that. And so I probably should just go and do that for most things here. Not going to worry about the demo for now. See, I'm doing it correctly in here in this gun affix manager. This probably needs to be the same thing. So let's do connect game events dot signal name player passive added callable dot from so we'll add that in there. This one probably needs to be the same as well. So we'll just preemptively fix that in all the places where it could be a problem. The tutorial flow probably will be a problem as well. Player pre-fire event. Okay. So all of that should be good now. So now I should start seeing those print statements. Oops. let's go. Your games are so polished, it's so fun too. Thank you. Just played your game from the GMTK Game Jam. Thought it was really fun. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, MajdiDev. Hello, Adriano. Do you have a video or a source with a good example of a singleton with C# and Godot? I just saw your game events there. Well, I just released a Godot C# course, which you can check out in the link below. It's the first link, but I don't have a readily available good example. I could just show you the game events really quick. So the game events, basically, there's a number of ways in which you can handle it, but like this singleton, it's an auto load in Godot, and then it also exposes a static instance property. And what I do is I listen for the notification scene instantiated here and then assign the instance static member to this reference, right? And then all of these emit methods are all static. And so I can just call static directly, those static methods directly, but then inside of there, it references the instance to do the actual signal emission. So it's not quite the same way that you do like a traditional C# singleton, but in order to get it to work with the node system and requiring an explicit reference, this is how I approach it. So yeah, you're welcome. Okay, let's just make sure now that those passives are working correctly. Still got some errors. Unable to cast object of type ref counted. See if we can fix that issue too, because I don't like that issue. So we got a phantom gun. Okay, perfect. So this is actually working now. So I can remove these prints. And I should see in my log now. Removed passive phantom gun from the passive table. Cool. Yes, we do go over that singleton pattern in the new course. In quite a few places, I believe, actually. Okay, let's figure out what this error is. Wave manager. Unable to cast object of type Godot ref counted to delegate state machine. That's happening in Wave Manager. I don't know what that error means at all. Oh, I know why. This is marked as a tool script for some reason. Why is it marked as a tool script? I don't know why that's marked as a tool script. I don't even see the Wave Manager in here. Oh, it's probably in the dungeon arena, huh? Yeah, Wave Manager. What happens if I remove this tool script? Ah, man, I feel like there's something wrong here. I don't really want to reanalyze whether this needs to be a tool script, but I'm wondering if it does. Wave Manager. Is this because there's like an export variable somewhere? I don't know why this needs to be a tool. Can I just remove that? My wave manager tools or exports got deleted. Wait a minute. Something happened here. Okay, we are going to undo the dungeon arena and dungeon level changes. Dungeon arena. What is this going to do here? Okay, the curves are back. So I don't believe that I needed that tool script there, and I'm hoping that that will fix whatever problems I had. All right, well, let's see if it works. Appears to work. So I might have to go through, I won't do it on stream, but I might have to go through and remove all those tool annotations because I think that's just causing problems and they're not necessary anymore. I think they were necessary at one point. Bodyguard, let's go. Yeah, I'm not seeing that error anymore, so I think that was related to that. Let's equip that. 5% chance to deal double damage, 10% chance to deal double damage. Let's go. Put the sniper receiver there. Perfect. Let's go. I like my little bodyguard dude. He's so cute, isn't he? Ooh, that one did double damage for sure. Yeah, increased health by 1 permanently for sure. I could get 4 rune slots. Well, it's actually a better upgrade for the right gun, so I'll put on the right gun there. Ooh, I could still get 4 rune slots. Look at that. Although, let's put some items on this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The sniper is one of my favorite receivers because it's like really chunky. I want to check out this. Yeah, it looks like the telegraph is no longer appearing on the floor. So I might have broken that. In any case, that tool removal fixed that. So I'm going to have to do some research on that. Let me see why. Oh, the telegraph is in the wrong spot. This telegraph needs to go below everything, I think. Right? Yes. So the shadows will render on top of the telegraph, the entities. The floor, wait a minute. This is all wrong. Floor goes there. Right, I think it should be telegraph, shadows, floor, entity, bullets, foreground. I don't know how that got so messed up. Can I spawn stuff? Spawn spider, centaur, spawn spawn, did I call it maggot? Yeah, there we go. Spawn the maggot. Let's see what happens. Okay, that looks correct now. Yeah, okay. We don't want those telegraphs rendering on top of everything now, do we? Watch this, spawn maggot 50. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I didn't add mount support to the entity spawning, so I guess I can't fill the room with maggots for you. I'm sorry. Not gonna be able to do it. All right, I'm just gonna call this one, look at this commit message right here, fix various issues. Boom. What is a telegraph? A telegraph is just like a telegraphed enemy attack. So it's that red zone that you see on the ground that tells you, hey, there's gonna be damage coming through this zone, so avoid it. That's what a telegraph is. Did you say that you got over that implementation? Oh, I already read that one, sorry. Hello, Bomb Dum. I want to ask how often you use delegates for objects which can have a reference of a class where desired method placed. I often use delegates for objects which can have a reference of a class. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that question if you want to clarify. Oops. There we go. What's a delegate? That's a C# thing. Yeah, a delegate is essentially, it's a member that stores like a reference to a function. And so you can pass that delegate around essentially and invoke the function that it points to. Okay, increase movement speed by 15%. Let's go. We'll equip that on the right gun. This one, yeah, we'll equip that there as well. We don't have enough runes though, so I'm getting rune slots much faster than I'm getting runes, so I think I need to tweak that quite a bit. I think I need to make rune slots just generally rarer. Maybe not though. Don't want it to be too difficult to get your gun working the way that you want it to. Ooh, there's a rune right there. I am not doing a lot of damage right now. You cannot overwrite a delegate. That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that question. Yeah, I guess you can't. Yeah, C# word for callback. Yeah, basically. You only have experience with GD script? Well, then there's a course just for you. C# course. Let's see. Increase. Let's do that. Do I have any blood runes? I don't think so. Ooh, I do have a blood rune though. Look at that. Let's extract the runes from there. I've got 2 blood runes, so let's put 1 on each. This increases DPS and fire rate for both guns. I'll put it on that one, yeah. And then, yeah, there we go. Bullets pierce through enemies. Let's put it on that one. Now we're cooking. There's a blood brother. It seems like they spawn way more commonly than what the passive indicates. Ooh. Blood brother. Summon a blood golem. Oh, it's always when a bleeding enemy dies. Okay, there's not even a % chance. It's just whenever a bleeding enemy dies, you get a blood golem. Okay. That makes sense. Why I'm seeing them so commonly. Ow. Look at them, they're so cute. Oh, they're exploding though. Okay. Increase movement speed by 10%. Let's do that. Let's put bullets pierce through enemies there. Might as well throw the shock on that one as well. This is going to give me 5 rune slots. Oh, but the DPS goes way down. The little gun icon is very much covering that, but that's all right. Got to figure out what to do about those little gun icons as well. Ooh, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh. Get dunked on. Goodness. Be funny if 1,000,000 of them spawned at once, yeah. Okay, well, I'm getting quite hungry, so I'm gonna stop and do lunch now. But thank you all for joining me on this stream. It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of work done in this stream. So thank you so much for watching. Again, check out my new C# course for Godot. The link for that is in the description below. It's the first link. You'll get it for a very heavily discounted price for the next 7 days. So use that link to get it. And I appreciate all your support. If you can't financially support me or don't want to, then watching and liking and subscribing is a great way to do that as well. That's very often, that's very helpful. Thank you to everyone here who has already gotten the course. I very much appreciate that. And I'll read your last final comments here. It'd be funny if 1,000,000 of them spawned at once. Okay, so I read that one. I love the effect when the items are removed with the golden laser or whatever it is. Thank you. Yeah, that was my cheap way of like, how do I get the in-between wave things to appear? Oh, well, just massive laser and then have them come in. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no lore behind it or anything. It's just like, oh, that would be cool to do. So I'm glad you like it. How long have I been coding on C#? For a number of years. I would say I started when I was in college, so maybe like 2015, 2016. Hello, Matthias. I finished your course 1 year ago. Best choice of my life, migrated from Unity to Godot. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm glad it helped. I really hope you make 9. Wow, I'll become the world's first sextillionaire or whatever it is. Anyway, thank you all again for watching. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for checking out my course and liking and subscribing and doing all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next stream. So make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when I'm streaming. And I hope that you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.